Elizabeth, can you hear me?
I can, and when I turn my mic on, I can hear you even better.
Hello.
Hello, welcome. All right, let's get started. Good afternoon, and welcome to the Convocation ceremony for the Master of Arts in Sound Arts and Industries program of the School of Communication at Northwestern University. You can see that several of us have arches behind us. My name is Jacob Smith. I'm a professor in the School of Communication and the director of the Sound Arts program. So as we're kicking off, just one reminder, please be sure you mute your mics so we can make sure everybody's hearing everything nice and clear. It's a great privilege to be here, hosting the program's fourth convocation ceremony. I'm so glad that despite all that's going on, we can still be together today to celebrate your achievements during the past year. During that time, you have carved a path through a broad terrain that encompasses the arts, culture, science, and industry of sound. Your journey has gone beyond the classroom to include visits by distinguished professionals from the worlds of film, television, podcasting, sonic branding, and sound art, site visits to organizations like Shure, 2112 Fort Knox Studios, and WBEZ, and a whole host of professional and community events. For me, what has characterized this class has been not only your dedication to understanding and mastering that broad terrain, but also your remarkable flexibility and resilience in the face of truly unprecedented circumstances. No cohort of students has traveled a path like yours during this academic year, and you faced all your unique challenges with creativity, strength, and determination. The results of your resilience were on vivid display in your wonderful presentations at the Study in Sound and in your capstone summer projects. I was really touched and inspired by how many of you have been using your skills in audio for the purposes of healing, outreach, and therapy, and by how you have supported each other, fostered community, and elevated each other's creative work. It was really inspiring to see. Across this year, we've been delighted to see and hear your progress as sound professionals. You've been a fantastic group, and speaking on behalf of all the faculty and staff, I want to say it's been a real pleasure getting to know you all. I congratulate you on all your achievements. I thank you for your industrious and innovative spirit, and I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Our next speaker is Professor Madhu Reddy, who is Associate Dean for Graduate Programs and the co-director of the multidisciplinary training program in digital mental health in the School of Communication. The Dean's Office in the School of Communication has played a special role in the life of our program. The first seeds for its development came about from conversations with the Dean and the Dean's Office, and the school's continued support has really allowed it to grow and flourish. So we are really very pleased to welcome Associate Dean Madhu Reddy.
Great. Thank you, Jake. Thank you for that introduction. And I want to echo what Jake said. First, start off by congratulating everybody. This has been unprecedented times, and all of you have worked extremely hard to get where you are. So congratulations. On behalf of Dean E. Patrick Johnson, our new dean as of September 1st, the School of Communication, I am happy to welcome you to this virtual graduation. This year has been unlike any year that we've had in the past. So I want to start by first thanking all of you for all the hard work you've done and your perseverance, as well as the faculty and staff for all their hard work. We've had to pivot very quickly in the spring to all the remote learning and into the summer. So thank you for all your hard work. We're extraordinarily proud of this program and this year's graduates. It's becoming a model for how to prepare students for success in the sound arts and industry. This is particularly exemplified by the diversity of this year's cohort. You're doing excellent work in many areas of sound, including audio storytelling, music production, film sound design, virtual interactive sound, and audio engineering. The program also exemplifies the breadth of the School of Communication. It is a program we're very proud of. It draws on faculty from departments as diverse as radio, television, film, to communication sciences and disorders. It integrates the arts, humanities, and sciences. The result is that we have a program that builds both a deep understanding of sound arts, as well as the broader industry, and also hopefully provides you a toolkit to support all of your work. I admire all your efforts in this program, especially your dedication. It required hard work and sacrifice, but you've acquired the knowledge and skills that I hope will serve you all your lives. Before I conclude these very brief remarks, I want to give special thanks and recognition to the friends and family who supported you during your work at Northwestern. Without their help, you would not have been so successful. So just a virtual round of applause for all the friends and families. Thank you so much. And finally, it's a special pleasure for me to welcome you to the community of NU, SOC, and SAI alumni. I hope that you, like your predecessors, will pay it forward and help those who follow you in this wonderful program. So to all of our graduates, congratulations on this most important achievement. Welcome to a life in Northwestern alumni community. And again, congratulations on all your hard work. We're so very proud of you. And I look forward to seeing you in our alumni events in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dean Reddy. So next, I am delighted to introduce our keynote speaker, Tom Myers. Myers was a radio, TV, film major at Northwestern, graduating in the class of 1980. After getting the film bug at Northwestern, he began a remarkable 30-year career in film sound design, working on all types of live action and animated films, as well as theme park and VR installations. As a sound designer at Skywalker Sound, Myers is someone who is at the very pinnacle of his industry, and he has worked with some of the top filmmakers of recent decades. He is also a sound artist of the highest rank and has been nominated for 3 Academy Awards, as well as receiving multiple BAFTA, CAS, and MPSE honors. Mr. Myers is an ideal speaker for our program. He's a wildcat. He's a celebrated sound artist with a bird's eye view of the field of cinematic sound design. And he is remarkably generous in sharing his experience. He serves on our program's advisory board. In recent years, he's come to campus to present a fantastic workshop. And he did the sound for the recent documentary film, Making Waves, which is destined to become the essential text for teaching a new generation of sound designers. We are thrilled that he could be here today to speak with us. So please welcome Mr. Tom Myers.
Thank you, Jake. Much appreciated. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. From the cocaine, you gave me a reason to shower and shave today. So thank you for having me. Congratulations. Excuse me. Greetings. Congratulations. I'm happy to welcome a new crew of sound people into the fold. You should be proud. You are needed for people that know how to listen. And it's not such an easy thing. And it's a valuable skill these days. I'm sorry that we cannot all be together and do this, and we have to do this through Zoom. Of course, awkward as this may be, it does not diminish your accomplishment at all. And if the Democratic Convention can handle it, I guess we can too. These are, and thank you for valuable skill these days. I'm sorry they are in fact tough, strange times we're in, but as they say, maybe it is so. But the good news is that your skill set translates into it's not such a different world. Sound work used to require a lot of heavy equipment, expensive equipment, and it's a valuable skill these days. Now we have a technology that is deep and expensive. So, but the good skill set translates into the current days to work in. Now we have a tool of producing professional work on your own. You have the technology that is fast and available. You don't have to rely on someone else to do your thing. You can create your own, learn there, a little hard. and the creative intent. It's amazing the way things are now. I just bought a little microphone for my iPhone for $150. It's amazing. I always have it with me. I can do great recordings at a moment's notice. So you have that to look forward to. I was thinking about what I wanted to hear when I was in your place, and what could possibly be helpful. By the way, as Jake said, when I graduated Northwestern 40 years ago in 1980, 40 years is, I don't know about to you, but it's an appalling number to me. So what you see here is what 30 years in post-production sound can do to you. I was advised by a number of people not to make an age sound joke, but I did it anyway. I hope somebody laughed out there. Anyway, back then, NU didn't have a sound program. As Jake said, I was a film student. I actually found sound kind of technical and intimidating. But I've learned over time that the technical aspect is only the delivery system for an underappreciated art form. It took me really a few years to understand the depths of creativity in sound work, its subtle strength, how much influence you can have, how you can guide the listener in 1,000 different ways with shading and subtlety, how timing and pace can work, how important dynamics and articulation are, especially in mixing, how covert and effective sound can be. Walter Murch, who you may know is the great sound designer and editor, worked on Apocalypse Now and The English Patient and The Conversation, a number of other great sound films. He said sound is effective because it comes in the side door. It sneaks up on you and allows you to speak in strong and unexpected ways. Anyway, I went back to look at some particularly strong commencement talks that are popular. And the one that has always jumped out at me was the one given by the author David Foster Wallace. That was back at Kenyon College in 2005 or 2006. It's called This is Water. And if you haven't heard it, it's on YouTube. I highly recommend it. I find it really meaningful and truly profound. I won't be doing that speech today, but I did start to think about it in relation to sound. If you don't know it, the basic premise or my takeaway of his speech is that one of the primary goals in life should really be about awareness, about being present. The cliche term is in the moment. It means having a focus of attention so that you're open to what's happening around you, rather than just kind of an unconscious default, knee-jerk reaction, which is what we often fall into. David Foster Wallace's ultimate point is the answer is easy, but the execution to have that disciplined life in life for this type of thinking is hard. It's almost impossible. But it occurred to me, what discipline helps you more be present and have that in-the-moment attention? What helps you better than listening? And we, as sound people, we learn how to listen. We're trained for this. In listening, you are present. You are let go of your ego, and you are instead focusing on the world around you, what you're listening to. And as sound people, again, and we in turn can teach other people how to listen. And I think that's just a very important skill and something to bear in mind. So I really think it's good and something that we should all let go of your ego and you instead strive for as sound people. But before we spin off into too much esoteric thinking on this, let me now share some pieces of practical advice. And I think that's just a very important skill and something to bear in mind. So as this is all based on, before we spin off into on my experience, but hopefully this will be helpful. First, your career will probably not go in some linear straight line of A to B to C. If I do this, and I think that's this. So I really think it's life. It will be more free form. But before we spin off into too much esoteric thing, life form, your route will be more sort of circuitous. Be frustrated by that, but lean into that and be open to any and all opportunities that may present themselves to you, especially the ones obviously that tickle. First, your passion. I encourage you to trust your gut, that there really isn't one correct path for a career in sound, except the one that really excites you. For you guys personally, while you can now, please continue to experiment with and encourage you to trust your right now is the time for you to be really bold and innovate in impractical ways. This type of thing gets harder to do as you move away from school and into the workforce. Right now, don't lose what you're exploring now. Once you get into working, you're often conforming to someone else's ideas. Plus, the field of innovation is always wide open. There's never an overabundance of good innovation. There's always a thirst. Once you get in, there's always a thirst for it. And that innovation takes creative boldness. So don't lose that. Don't lose that the field that you've got now from school. Also, I encourage you to record. Build your own library. Record all interesting sounds and environments as much as possible. Start your sound libraries now. And now, carry a hand recorder with you wherever possible. Excuse me. So don't lose it. I cannot tell you how valuable that can be, both in the short term and the long term. I guarantee you, you won't be sorry. It will be an ever-expanding, lifelong work of your own to build a. Also, I encourage sound library and catalog and database, if that's very important too. No one will know this library as well as you. Environment as well as you. It will be an invaluable asset. It will be an unending source of inspiration. It's fun. It keeps you open. It keeps you open. It keeps you curious, and it keeps you in the moment. In terms of the short term and the people who I know who are most successful in sound have three strengths. You'll be okay if you have two of these, but the people who I know are most successful have all three. The first one is they have a creative vision, an ability to think beyond the literal, to see creative opportunities where others don't, to have a sense of how to put interesting and surprising things together. And I'm betting that you guys have this already, otherwise you wouldn't be where you are. In terms of they know their tools. They have a technological understanding of how to use the tools of the trade, how to use the tools of the trade to achieve their creative. The first one, that they become creative opportunity, that they become second nature. They don't have to think about it. They use them to create their creative vision. But remember, I'm getting advice you wouldn't be where you are. The psychological understanding of technology becomes more important than the creative intent. Plugins are great. You know them so well that they become second nature. New hardware is great, but remember, they're just tools to do something else. They're not an end in of itself. They have to serve the, myself included. Plugins are great. New hardware is great. They're not an end in of itself. And you need to learn good interpersonal skills, an ability to listen and understand and communicate sometimes difficult creative concepts. Learn to collaborate with people, even if you don't agree with their creative choices. Learn to make people comfortable around you. Unfortunately, pure talent is not enough to succeed. It's not always fair, but you will see people with less creative talent get ahead because of their interpersonal skills. So don't sell them short. This is something I've had to learn again and again. It's really important to develop the interpersonal skills. Also, I would advise you to develop a flexible skill set to do it all: dialogue, sound effects, music, recording, editing, design, mixing. The more diverse you are, the more opportunities you will have. Once you get a job, show up on time and do what they ask you to do. You'd be amazed at how often that really doesn't happen. Once you get it, be a good collaborator. Have a sense of humor. Solve problems, don't create them. Pay attention to the details. But, and this is important as it's a common mistake, don't forget to see the big picture. Everything serves the greater whole. No one thing is more important than the collective whole of the artistic intent of a project. Every department, every person values their contribution, but you have to learn to keep your ego in check if you're serving someone else's vision. I've learned over the years the little detail that I love the most is always invariably the one that gets taken out. You just have to steel yourself for that. Years ago, I recorded my 5-year-old son screaming into a plastic bucket for Monsters, Inc., the Pixar film. I was really happy with how it turned out. I cut it in, put it in the film. I thought it really worked. Made it all the way to the last day of the final mix. And then the picture editor on the last day says, you know, that let's replace that one scream at 550 feet. Now, I had one of my tracks I liked better. A little ice pick in the, my heart there, but you have to let it go. So we put in his kid, took out my kid. That's show business. That's the way it works. So you have to learn to see the bigger picture. Finally, some impractical advice that really ties into Wallace's speech, and it's a lesson I'm still learning. I've really only in the last few years started to understand how much effort I spent on thinking about getting the next job or worrying about the job I didn't get or harboring some hidden jealousy over a person who did get the job I wanted. And they're often friends or people I admire. I've really now come to understand that that's wasted energy. The happier I'm happier and more fulfilled when I focus more on the process of work, the creative process, the collective process, collaborative process, the happier process, and less on what I might get out of it. The accolades, the awards, the goals are not the things now I think about. It's focusing on the process of the work. That's where the juice is. The rest is all ephemeral. It's often political and outside of your control. The real juice is in the process of creative discovery, how things will reveal themselves to you the more you work on them. Try to be open to going down blind alleys of creativity. You never know what you'll find. And whenever possible, work with people you like or admire. And that's really the exciting part. And remember, there really is no making it. There's no point that you get to where you'll achieve in your career where it's just all gravy and you sit back and the jobs roll in and everything you do, everybody loves. And it doesn't work that way. I have to say, I've seen the most talented people in this field, and I'm talking about Mount Rushmore of sound folks, all of them at one time or another, they get frustrated, they're disappointed, they feel bitter about something, or they even get fired. So it's really important that you get your satisfaction, and they all do this. I see them, I've learned from them. They all get their satisfaction from the joy of the work they do and the people you do it with. I've really now started to think of my career as one long job, not a series of small ones. I've just finished work on SpongeBob 3, Sponge on the Run. Hold your applause, please. I'm starting to work on a gritty little live action Brazilian film about human trafficking. 2 projects that couldn't be more different. But I approach them the same way, with the same excitement and fear, and I apply the same skill set and hope for a good experience of discovery and learning. So I envy you. I envy you all, and I encourage you to focus on the ride that you have ahead of you with an open mind and an open heart, because that really is the real reward. I realize that's easy for me to say, and it's really like, many things, something that you can really only learn through experience, but I ask you to keep it in mind, okay? All right. Jake has my email. If you find yourself in Northern California, please reach out. I would love to meet you in person. I can't offer you a job, but I can offer you lunch, and I would love to meet you. All the best, and my congratulations. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Tom, for those wonderful remarks. Now we will recognize the class of 2020. Timothy C. Burns. Daniel Aaron Greenwald. Meredith Francis Haynes. Daniel Tecumseh Hayashi. Solon Reed Kelleher. Henry Koch. Aaron Mix. Lucy Nicole Newton. Daniel Robles. Hannah Vitti. And Matthew Thomas Wagner. Congratulations to the class of 2020.
Wonderful. Great to see you all. Congratulations. Thank you, Tom, for some incredible remarks. And now we have some closing remarks from Professor Neil Verma, who's the Associate Director and co-founder of the MA in Sound Arts and Industries.
Jake. Hold on a second. Okay.
Neil, may I break in for just a second? It appears that I have forgotten the wonderful student, Andrew Slater, who also is graduating this year. And I deeply apologize for overlooking your name.
Congratulations, Andy. Woo! Thank you so much for that, Elizabeth. Good afternoon, graduates. Dean Reddy, Director Smith, SAI faculty and staff, family and friends, and thanks especially to our distinguished alumnus, Tom Myers. We are so grateful that you could spend time with us to celebrate this class today as they come to the conclusion of their program and the culmination of so much work. I'm Neil Verma. I'm an assistant professor here at Northwestern, and I serve as the associate director of the program, which means that it's my privilege to kind of welcome the students into the cohort as a class and to send them out into the world at the end. This cohort will be an unforgettable group for me. We call our space on campus the sound tank, like it's kind of like a think tank, but it's also a bit like an echo chamber that reverberates with sounds of students who have come through. I'll always remember learning about Orisha praise from Tim, about DJing from Hannah, swapping stories of metal shows with Andy, and learning about forest bathing from Henry. Don't worry, it's not as risque as it sounds. And Solon, I think I will remember Solon best from when I heard that he danced the night away with all the visiting producers at the Third Coast International Audio Festival, to no one's surprise. This was a year of students with big ideas and big personalities who took on difficult issues using incredibly broad talents. When I talk about our program, I often use the metaphor of the seasons. In the fall, we try to help students become scholars and producers, thinkers, and makers of sound. In the winter, we help them grow more as scientists and specialists in one or two areas of media. In spring, we focus on who each of you is as an artist, which culminates in our study in sound. And in summer, we encourage each of you to develop really as a sound professional, ready to enter the next phase of your career. I've got to admit this metaphor didn't work so well this time. For us, we really had two seasons, an outside season and an inside season. A vibrant period of reaching out and exploring through classes, fieldwork, and lectures and guest speakers. But then a second period of more about reaching inward too. And it turned out that they were both profound, part of the same continuum. Many of you were able to deepen your sound interests and projects as a result of the COVID lockdown. The composer Anea Lockwood, who we had the privilege of speaking to in one of Stefan's salons this spring, has a wonderful way of thinking about this. In a recent interview, she said this: "Where I see myself is in the continuum of ideas. Through my work, I can see that I'm trying to sense what the world is. As if I were more than a human body, I'm trying to sense what all the other phenomena of the world are by their nature. Can you feel yourself at one with something that you would otherwise, in a different state of mind, label as outside of yourself? A sense of being at one with the river or the tam-tam, a sense of no separation between yourself and the sound." What I love about this reflection is not just its outright utopianism, the notion of a change in perception that reveals the world as a continuum of sounds, one in which we're all part, but also that being in the continuum of sounds also means necessarily being in the continuum of ideas. I think that's something that you learned, and we learned alongside you this year. The insight that what we try to get sonically from outside is of a piece with the ideas we draw from ourselves, even in isolation. I hope that's something that you will take with you from your experiences at Northwestern, a continuum of ideas and practices along which you can move back and forth across many media, the many media forms in which you may work, and for many years to come. Congratulations to all of you for your incredible work, your drive, your generosity toward one another, and your willingness to persevere and find insights inside what seemed at first to be impediments. Traditionally, this would be the time when I'd invite all of you to a reception where we would all share food and drink, and we can't do that today. But what we can do is unmute ourselves for a moment where we can clap and raise a glass if you have one, or maybe throw your hat if you feel like you want to. And then let me close with a toast that we often give to our graduates at this changing of the season. So please unmute yourselves for a moment. To all of our graduates, may your windscreens be secure, may your mixes be balanced, and may your reverb time be long.
Cheers, everyone.
So I think with that, we're going to bring a conclusion to our events today. We're so proud of you, and we want to keep in touch with all of you. So please be sure to keep us in your thoughts, and you'll definitely be hearing from us in the future. Congratulations to all our graduates.
Congratulations.
Great work, everyone.
Congratulations again.
Congratulations.
Get some sleep.
Congrats, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Happy birthday, Sol.